Hello everyone, it's me, Juan 54, back in the video today. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, today is a momentous day because you are now watching the first ever video for 2025. And I figured, why not? Let's make this a special one. We're going to be reacting to FNAF's version of the complete FNAF timeline. Yes. I know we tackled a completed timeline before with MatPat, but I wanted to do something strong. So I figured, why not? Let's do it with another FNAF theorist out there that is doing a great job out there. Had to drink water for this one. But you know what, guys? Without further ado, we're going to do a reaction to it because it is a long video. Like, dear God. It's going to be a long video and maybe a multi-part reaction. Anyway, let's go.
Together in one place.
Five Nights at Freddy's is a franchise with over a decade's worth of content.
Yeah.
Countless games, books, and now a movie. There's a reason that no matter whose timeline you watch, they all look different.
Yep.
Making a FNAF timeline is not easy. There are so many ways you can interpret this story, and this is mine. So let's start at the beginning.
1970s. Okay, look at the animation, okay.
Fazbear Entertainment got its start by creating different props and mascot costumes for carnivals, and specifically for something called the Fall Fest. The Fall Fest featured various mascot characters, such as a bird, an elephant, and the most popular of all, Fredbear and Bonnie. These specific mascot costumes were so popular, Fazbear Entertainment opened a dedicated restaurant for them called Fredbear's Family Diner, featuring the same Fredbear and Bonnie mascot costumes from the Fall Fest. What Fazbear Entertainment didn't account for, though, was one of their animatronics from the Fall Fest going rogue.
Oh, goodness.
In a giant fire, with most of everything from the Fall Fest being destroyed.
Yeah, Oh, yeah, John FNAF. Okay. I see you. I'm vibing with this. You can't down, but I'm booging it down. The visuals are crazy. I'm gonna say that right now. The entire FNAF timeline. Alright, cook my boy.
The specifics about the animatronic that went rogue and the fire are unknown and will likely be revealed next year in FNAF's next big release. Although we don't...
AKA this year, ladies and gentlemen. Can't you believe it? Secrets of the Mimic, we're going to get this year. This year on 2025, so... Oh boy! You can believe I'm excited for that one. I'm sorry, continue.
We don't know much about how this fire occurred. We do know that after the fire, Fazbear Entertainment started phasing out of the mascot costume era. They needed something new. The two men who helped found Fazbear Entertainment, William Afton and Henry Emily, stepped up to the plate.
Okay.
William Afton was mostly the businessman of the two, handling all of the money, while Henry was the more creative one, with him being in charge of building most of the animatronics and props for the company. With the Fall Fest era of the company coming to a close, they were only left with Fredbear's Family Diner, the standalone restaurant created for the Fredbear and Bonnie characters. In order to replace the mascot versions of Fredbear and Bonnie, Henry went to work on new versions of the characters, eventually creating the new Fredbear and Spring
I'm gonna just say this, the visuals are amazing. I already said that, but god dang.
Henry called them Springlock suits. These suits are able to double as both an animatronic and a suit that the employees could wear. To switch the suit from animatronic mode to suit mode, the employees could use a hand crank to pull back the animatronic parts, leaving room for them to climb inside. The spring locks that were helping to hold back those animatronic parts were very sensitive though, and with even a little bit of moisture, the spring locks could potentially snap shut, crushing and killing whoever was inside. But if that ended up happening, Fazbear Entertainment had some common sense procedures set in place.
In case that the spring locks come loose while you are wearing a suit, please try to maneuver away from populated areas before bleeding out. That do not ruin the customer experience.
Dang, okay. So y'all know this, but you expect this, oh yeah, if that ever happens, just go to the back rooms or like go behind the stage and just drop dead as to not ruin anyone's experience. Fazbear Entertainment, how much you are a good company. Ha ha.
Fazbear's Family Diner ended up being super successful for William and Henry, so much so that other companies tried replicating it. Another company proceeded to rip off Fazbear Entertainment's old mascot characters by creating their own animatronic versions of them. The leader of the group was Ned Bear, a direct copy of Fredbear, followed by a hippo, an elephant, and a frog. All characters from the Fall Fest, and all with slightly different designs to avoid copyright issues. But while the rival company was able to replicate the designs, they could not replicate Henry's state-of-the-art technology.
Yeah.
Their robots were poorly made and had to have giant batteries with exposed wires on stage with them. Naturally, the rival company failed and ended up being bought out by Fazbear Entertainment. With all of the success from Fredbear's Family Diner, William and Henry decided to branch out and create more characters for a new restaurant. In 1983, William and Henry opened Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, featuring Freddy Fazbear, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy. With the opening of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, Fazbear Entertainment was experiencing success like they've never seen before. But with two restaurants now open at the same time, more success also meant more work for William and Henry. The duo were so wrapped up in work that they started neglecting their own families.
Dang.
William was the father of 3 kids, the eldest, Michael, the crying child, and Elizabeth. The crying child has yet to have a 100% confirmed name, so for this video, he will just be called the crying child.
Understandable. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I do really want people to start calling the crying child by a canon name at this point. But we just got Dave. People like me are still fond with Evan because, you know, Evan, Elizabeth, it kind of fits. It goes well together. And, you know, people are still holding on with the whole Chris Afton thing for some reason. So, yeah, I guess we're just going to be stuck calling him the crying child. Sorry, buddy.
Meanwhile, Henry had one kid, a daughter named Charlie.
Dang, they're not going to involve Sammy.
Days working, so they both created different ways of taking care of their kids. Henry was the robotics genius, so he used his talents to create a new animatronic to watch Charlie for him. It was called the security puppet. This animatronic would sit by the door of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza and make sure that Charlie wasn't able to leave the building. This made it so Charlie could play at the restaurant while Henry worked, without Henry having to worry about her leaving the building or getting kidnapped. The robot was linked directly to a green bracelet that Charlie was wearing. If Charlie, wearing the green bracelet, tried leaving the building, the security puppet would spring into action. William, on the other hand, was the businessman of the company. He cared more about making money, but also saving money. Naturally, he decided to just force his eldest son, Michael, to babysit while he was at work. Michael was mostly in charge of babysitting the crying child. The crying child didn't have many friends, but he did have a close relationship with his plushies. These plushies were of characters from his favorite show, Fredbear and Friends. Fazbear Entertainment's newest cartoon, featuring Fredbear, Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy. The crying child's favorite character, though, was Fredbear. He especially loved his Fredbear plushie. Although he loved the plushie version of the characters, the animatronics would soon become a different story. One day, while visiting Fredbear's Family Diner, the crying child saw something that would scar him for the rest of his life. While wandering the restaurant, he walked by the employees only room, where an employee accidentally left the door open. Inside the room was his father, William Afton, helping another employee into a spring Bonnie suit. But through the eyes of the crying child, this looked like someone was literally being stuffed into an animatronic suit. The Dang! Was so young that he wasn't educated on how the mascot characters worked, so seeing a human be put inside of one terrified him. When a child experiences something traumatic, their brain naturally tries finding ways to deal with that trauma. The crying child's way of dealing with his trauma was by creating an imaginary friend. This imaginary friend took the form of the object he loved the most.
Dang. That's crazy. I mean, when MatPat did it, he was basically saying, yes, this is a kid being stuffed. But now thinking about it, it would make more sense if it was someone just, you know, just an employee and William's just like, out here wasting my time and money. All right, here, just stay still while I put up this animatronic helmet on you. I mean, head on you. That's like going into Disneyland and somehow a kid just saw Mickey Mouse take off his head and just, boop, surprise, there's a man inside. Like, dang. Like, don't get me wrong. don't get me wrong, I like MatPat's way of seeing it, but like, dang. It would make more sense for just, you know, the crying child to just believe someone gets stuff. But, you know, now thinking about it, but then what's with the whole rumor that that Pinktail girl was talking about? Like, you know, where people get stuff. I mean, I'm pretty sure she's the one who started the rumor, so how the heck does she know about all that? Who knows? Maybe she saw it too, and she's just like spreading the word.
His Fredbear plushie. His new imaginary friend Fredbear followed him wherever he went, shape-shifting into flowers, hiding behind cars, and in the sewers, with nobody being able to see him except for the crying child. When the crying child was overwhelmed, the plushie would talk to him and try to calm him down. Even when the plushie wasn't around, it was still able to speak to him, because it lived in his mind. While the crying child was dealing with the trauma of seeing what he thinks was someone being stuffed into a suit, his brother Michael was only making it worse. Michael knew about what happened with his younger brother and used it against him. Every day while babysitting the crying child, Michael would put on a foxy mask, hide somewhere in the house, and jump scare his little brother.
Dang. Oh, come on, don't do this. Is it gonna be Michael or is it gonna be the Nightmare Foxy? I feel like it's Nightmare Foxy. I got my hands up. Yeah, we're going in the closet. No. I'm scared.
From the pizzeria to your living room, you no longer have to wait to sing and dance with Fredbear and Friends.
Aww.
Weeknights at 8, 7 Central. Only on...
I'm scared, really, for real. I don't mess with the jump scares, man. I'm just raising my arm up. You don't know I'm just stuck with a Wakanda pose. What's going on? Oh, okay. It's just the clock. It's just the clock. This is crazy. I like how you're doing this. Oh, there it is!
Through all of Michael's bullying, the crying child's imaginary friend Fredbear would comfort him and talk him through the situation, saying, "You know he is hiding again. Be careful. Tomorrow is another day." Michael wasn't the only one bullying the crying child, though. The local kids in the neighborhood heard about why the crying child was so scared of the pizzeria, even making up fake rumors related to what the crying child thought he saw.
Dang.
Watch out, I hear they come to life at night, and if you die, they hide your body and never tell anyone. But all of this bullying would come to a head on one special day. The crying child's birthday.
I guess it would make sense
Ironically,
if it was
his
a
birthday
rumor
party
just to
was
mess
being
with him.
held at
Dang.
Fredbear's family diner. Because he was so terrified of being at the pizzeria, he hid under the table, not knowing that Michael and his friends were nearby, planning a prank that would go terribly wrong.
Oh, nah. We're gonna actually see it in live? Live in 4K?
Grab your pizza. Fredbear and Spring Bonnie will be performing in 5 minutes.
Is that MatPat?
Pizza. Fredbear and Spring Bonnie will be performing in 5 minutes.
That is MatPat! What the hey? MatPat and Spring Bonnie. I see what you were doing there. That whole FNAF musical thing. God, I almost spit. I almost spit out my water. Oh no, don't do it. No, don't do it. Don't do it. Ah.
Michael and his friends lifted the crying child up to, quote, give Fredbear a big kiss, and Fredbear bit down on him, leaving his body to go limp. Michael and his friends quickly stopped laughing. Because of Michael's immature behavior, his terrified younger brother paid the ultimate price. Although the crying child was badly hurt, he didn't immediately die. Because of the immense brain damage, he slipped into a coma. After being treated at a hospital, the crying child was taken home so he could be comfortable, surrounded by his only friends, his plushies. In the crying child's final moments, Michael decides to apologize for what he's done, saying,
a little too late for that,
I don't
buddy.
know if you can hear me. I'm sorry. After Michael speaks, the crying child's imaginary friend Fredbear, created out of the trauma he experienced, continues doing what it's done the whole time. It comforts him, saying, "You're broken. We are still your friends. Do you still believe that? I'm still here. I will put you back together." This would be the final thing the crying child hears before he dies. The crying child's spirit would then live on in the Fredbear suit, the thing that took his life. The crying child's death wasn't just an accident. It was directly caused by Michael's recklessness. This is something that Michael could potentially face jail time for, so it needed to be covered up. Since the crying child was being kept at home, no one else knew that he ended up passing away. So William and Michael ended up burying the crying child's body in the middle of the woods where no one would find him.
Dang.
No tombstone, no flowers, just a pile of dirt, an unmarked grave, and a lifetime's worth of guilt that Michael would have to live with. Shortly after the incident, Fredbear's family diner was completely shut down, and Fredbear was completely wiped from existence. The Fredbear and Friends TV show turned into Freddy and Friends on tour. The Fredbear and Spring Bonnie Springlock suits also ended up being moved into the back room of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, mainly being used as spare suits if one.
Honestly, with considering how terrible of a person William Afton is, essentially covering up his own son being dead and just throw him into a pit of dirt, you know, it doesn't really surprise me. Heck, I wouldn't be surprised if it... I'll be surprised if it wasn't that, to be honest.
The Freddy's animatronics broke down. The death of William Afton's youngest son was a pivotal moment in this story, specifically William Afton's story. This was the first domino to fall. A father losing his son is a traumatic situation, and while any other father would take time to grieve, be sad, and properly deal with such a big loss, William Afton took a different route. Afton definitely was upset about his son dying, but it wasn't because he felt bad for his son, it was because it was embarrassing to him. William Afton was a narcissist. He had little to no empathy. All he cared about was work and comparing himself to his business partner, Henry. Henry had a wife, a kid, and a talent for robotics that Afton was utterly jealous of. The death of the crying child sent Afton over the edge because while Henry's family was still perfect, his was now broken. Henry and William had different ways of taking care of their kids. And while
you should have been a good father, Willie.
Son failed, Henry's security puppet succeeded. Henry's daughter, Charlie, lived on. Afton had a hard time dealing with this feeling of embarrassment. He started becoming an alcoholic, frequently visiting the local bar called Junior's. One night, though, after drinking a little too much and getting kicked out of the bar, he decided that he was going to settle the score with Henry. Afton, drunk and filled with rage, drove from the bar to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, where he knew Charlie was being watched over by Henry's security puppet. Afton planned on risking everything to kill Henry's daughter, Charlie. He didn't care if he got caught, and he didn't care if he went to prison. But when Afton got to Freddy's, he noticed that Charlie was standing outside by herself. It turned out that some bullies were able to trap the security puppet in its box and lock Charlie outside the building, giving Afton the perfect opportunity to kill Charlie outside.
Henry, I'm surprised you didn't ban those kids, to be honest.
Box and went looking for Charlie. As Afton sped away, the puppet noticed that Charlie was outside in the pouring rain. It then did what it was programmed to do and went to protect her. But as the puppet got closer to Charlie's body, the rain started making it short circuit. It was forced to crawl its way over to her until the rain got to be too much, and the puppet shut down right next to Charlie's body. While Charlie and the puppet lay lifeless next to each other, Afton was speeding home, driving right past where he buried his son and the bar he got kicked out of. When Afton got home, he was met with his wife sitting in the living room watching TV, and Michael in his bedroom. Afton was a drunk and abusive father, and fully blamed Michael for what happened to his youngest son. Mrs. Afton tells him to leave Michael alone because he's had a tough day, but Afton doesn't listen. He goes over to Michael's room and pounds on the door, only for the door to be locked. He then makes his way around the house to try and find a way in from the outside, but once he gets to Michael's bedroom window, he notices that it's broken, and Michael was gone. Michael was so upset by what he did to his brother that he would sometimes see visions of Fredbear appear and disappear. Tonight, Fredbear appeared outside his bedroom window, and it almost felt like his brother was calling out to him from beyond the grave. This would happen frequently, and every time it did, Michael would run to the spot where they buried his younger brother, only to find that nothing had changed. His younger brother was still gone and buried in the ground. After Michael did this often, saying, "Ran off to that place again. He will be sorry when he gets back." The guilt of killing his younger brother haunted Michael in his real life, but also in his dreams. Michael would constantly have nightmares about the animatronic that took his brother's life. These were the exact same nightmares his younger brother used to have every night, now passed on to him.
How so? Dang, that's actually pretty cool. Visually, that's cool. I'm not gonna lie, that was cool. Uh-oh. Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, that's a hand. Oh, no. It's over for you. It's wraps. Good night. Say goodnight, Willie. Say goodnight, Michael. Oh, no, I'm scared. I'm scared for real. I'm shaking. Oh, it's over. Uh-oh. Yep, Michael, meet Nightmare Foxy. Say goodnight, sucker. Oh! Say goodnight.
After the death of Charlie, Fazbear Entertainment tried their best at covering it up. Fortunately for them and for William, the crime was committed outside, where no one was around to witness it. William was able to get away with everything, while Fazbear Entertainment never spoke of the incident again. The security puppet was quickly moved to the back room of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, where the retired Fredbear and Spring Bonnie suits resided. But something was different about the security puppet. Dark tears now appeared on the mask of the animatronic. Dark tears that weren't there before. This is something that Afton quickly noticed the next day when he went into work. He'd heard about what happened moments after he sped off. He knew the security puppet was found laying next to Charlie's body. So does that mean Charlie's soul now resided in the puppet? William definitely noticed that the puppet looked different. Almost like it was haunted. Almost like it was thinking. Other employees would eventually notice the same thing.
I'll be honest, I never liked that puppet thing. It's always thinking, and it can go anywhere.
After realizing the security puppet may be possessed by the spirit of Charlie, Afton went back and looked at the crying child's Fredbear plushie, only to find that it also seemed to be haunted. The crying child feared for his life every single day, and that plushie was something he was able to cry and pour his agony into. Afton believed that this is what caused the plushie to appear haunted. It wasn't made alive by the spirit of his son, it was made alive by the agony and fear his son poured into it. Afton quickly became obsessed with the concept of haunted objects, and more specifically, the power of human emotion. He needed to find out if this is something he could take advantage of. Afton then used all of his money he made from Fredbear's and Freddy Fazbear's Pizza to build a giant underground facility directly under his house. It was here that he would try to recreate what happened with his son, to recreate the fear and agony.
And this is where he's gonna torture Michael.
Afton didn't take any chances. He needed to replicate exactly what his son went through every day. In order to do this, Afton built a replica of his house underground, along with his son's daily walk to Fredbear's family diner. He also built a makeshift bedroom where he could force kids to have the same nightmare every night. Afton would sit in his office watching them on the cameras that could be accessed using the passcode 1983, the year his son got bit. He also kept the crying child's Fredbear plushie on the desk as a reminder of what he was trying to replicate.
Dang.
In the makeshift bedroom, there were dummy animatronics that wheeled down the hallway.
Oh, that's cool.
Wouldn't see them as just blank dummies on wheels. Afton would pump hallucinogenic gas into the
room
to get the kids to think that what they were seeing was a monster. These nightmare gas canisters were being stored all throughout his underground facility, and on the bed of this makeshift bedroom was a Freddy plushie, in the hopes that the kids would pour their fear and agony into the plush, like his son did to his plushie. On the other side of the bunker, where Afton recreated the crying child's walk to Fredbear's, he placed a bunch of Fredbear plushies all over the place. These Fredbear plushies had walkie-talkies inside of them. This was Afton's way of recreating his son's imaginary friend that would talk to him wherever he went. Afton would speak to the kids through his walkie-talkie sitting in his private office. After setting up the...
But I do want to ask, okay, so if you're telling me that, okay, so we know that he's including the Fazbear Fright story where, you know, I think it's Fazbear Frights. I think it might be Tales from the Pizzaplex, but so we're going through that story, right, where FNAF 4 may possibly maybe be about hallucination gas, right? Right. And you're telling me that William Afton is recreating everything, word for word, bar for bar, or what he thinks is word for word, bar for his kid. So what about Michael? Like, does Michael participate in all this, or like, does he get like someone else? Like, does he pay someone to like pretend to be Michael, wear the Foxy mask, and just like do it, or did he basically manipulate his son by saying, "Listen, boy, it's time for you to be actually useful to me"? Like, did he threaten Michael by saying, "If you don't do as I say, then perhaps jail, then perhaps you can be useful to me while you're in jail"? Is what I'm basically thinking. Like, did he threaten Michael to do these experiments by, you know, jumping out and being the Foxy bro? Or, like, is Michael, like, excluded from all this? Because I feel like he'll probably do the same thing to Michael, right?
bunker, Afton was only missing one more thing: the kids to run these experiments on. He needed a way to kidnap and capture kids without being caught, and he had the perfect way to do it.
Oh.
The show will begin momentarily. Everyone, please stay in your seats.
Enter Circus Baby and the Funtime animatronics. These robots were specifically built by Afton to capture kids, featuring Circus Baby, Funtime Freddy, Funtime Foxy, and Ballora. They feature advanced technologies such as parental tracking, voice mimicking / luring, and storage tanks. Circus Baby, the star of the group, was even able to make ice cream as a way to lure kids to her. Once the kid got too close, a giant claw would reach out, grab them, and lock them in the animatronics storage tank. Some of the board members from Fazbear Entertainment were suspicious of these new animatronics.
She can dance. She can sing. She's equipped with a built-in helium tank for inflating balloons right at her fingertips. She can take song requests. She can even dispense ice cream.
With all due respect,
those aren't the design choices we were curious about, Mr. Afton.
Afton even created a new restaurant for these animatronics called Circus Baby's Pizza World.
Yeah.
Elizabeth, William Afton's daughter, was fascinated by Circus Baby.
Oh,
All she
no.
wanted to do was play with her, but Afton wouldn't let her.
Daddy, why won't you let me play with her? We let the other children go see her. Why won't you let me go?
He strictly told her to stay away from the animatronic, but one day she didn't listen. On the opening day of Circus Baby's Pizza World, another domino would fall in Afton's life, and Elizabeth would soon be the victim of his terrible
she'll get
schemes.
scooped. Uh-oh.
I can do something special. Did you know that? I can make ice cream, although I only did it once.
Oh, no.
What a wonderful day, though. I was in a small room with balloons and a few tables. I would always count the children. I'm not sure why. They usually played together in groups of 2 or 3. There were 4, then 3, then 2, then 1.
Oh, no.
Time to play.
Oh, no. Don't do it. No. No. No.
Ice cream.
No.
Something happened when there was 1. I was no longer myself. There was screaming for a moment, but only for a moment.
In an instant, Elizabeth was grabbed by Circus Baby and thrown into her stomach hatch. The sheer force of her being grabbed and thrown into the robot's storage tank was enough to kill her almost instantly. This is something that William wasn't able to test. That was until his daughter became the test. William Afton now lost another one of his kids, but this time it was all his fault.
Indeed.
After just one day of being open, Circus Baby's Pizza World was shut down. Afton covered up the incident by telling the public that the restaurant shut down due to gas leaks. But not everyone bought that story. The local newspaper wrote about the incident, saying, in other news, the grand opening of Circus Baby's Pizza World has apparently been canceled due to reported gas leaks in the building. Sources close to the establishment questioned the report, saying that strange activity around the area at night suggests something else is to blame. One local is quoted as saying, everything just stopped. There was so much excitement built around this place opening, and then they just stopped talking about it. A tenant from across the street claims to have witnessed a large group of cars surrounding the building during the night, and large pieces of equipment being taken out of the building under tarps. A few weeks later, the building was for sale. There is no comment yet from the local entrepreneur who financed the venture. That local entrepreneur, William Afton, successfully covered up everything. He was able to bring Circus Baby and the Funtime animatronics back down.
He can't keep getting away with this.
Something was different about Circus Baby. One distinct feature about Circus Baby was her blue eyes. But what once was blue eyes,
put this man in a pack
green,
now.
the same color as Elizabeth's. In that moment, he knew that his daughter's soul attached itself to the robot. Her soul lived on in Circus Baby. Afton knew that the way Charlie went on to possess the puppet was sloppy, and it was hard to recreate without getting caught. But what if the kids' bodies were hidden where no one would ever look? What if, just like his daughter, their bodies were stuffed into the animatronics? For Afton, Elizabeth's death quickly went from just another inconvenience to a scientific breakthrough. Afton was one step closer to harnessing the power of life itself. But one successful experiment wasn't enough. Just like the fear experiments he built in the bunker, he needed to replicate exactly what happened. He needed to recreate the accident, and he knew exactly how he was going to do it. Using the Funtime animatronics again wasn't an option. Circus Baby's Pizza World was shut down, and the public was already getting too suspicious of the animatronics. But he didn't need the Funtime animatronics. He was going to run the experiment himself. On June 26, 1985, Afton made his way to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. There, he would put on the old spring Bonnie suit from Fredbear's to lure 5 kids into the back room.
Oh no. No. Oh, this is Susie, isn't it? Oh no. Girl, watch out behind you!
Hello? Looking for a friend?
The water's clear, come swim with me.
Nah. Yeah, that is foul! No! 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 John, come on, man. You can't be playing the missing children incident with this happy-go-lucky friends song, man. Come on. Like, I get it. It's part of the franchise. I get it. I mean, heck, we even saw Glitch Trap dancing around, flaying around, most likely after he was done what he did to the missing kids. But come on, man. Don't do this. No! God dang it. Nah. This fiend.
One by one, Afton killed them and stuffed their bodies into the animatronics. Susie was first, being stuffed into Chica. Gabriel went into Freddy, Jeremy into Bonnie, Fritz into Foxy, and then there was Cassidy, who went into Fredbear, aka Golden Freddy. At this point, Afton had no idea that the crying child spirit was in Golden Freddy, so he didn't think twice about shoving Cassidy in there. The way Afton killed Cassidy, though, was different from the rest. Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy were just regular animatronics. Afton had no choice but to kill them, then stuff them into the suits. But Golden Freddy wasn't just a regular animatronic, it was a Springlock suit. The same Springlock suit that took his youngest son's life. Afton was aware of how dangerous the Springlocks were. Any bit of moisture or too much movement would cause them to snap shut, slowly
Cassidy,
killing whoever
no.
was inside. So that's exactly what he did to Cassidy. He put him into the suit and watched as the Springlocks snapped shut, cementing Cassidy's death as the most brutal of them all. Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, and Golden Freddy weren't the only animatronics sitting in the back room of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, though. They were joined by the security puppet, which contained the soul of Henry's daughter, Charlie. Once Afton was gone, Charlie jumped into action, almost acting as a guide for their souls, properly giving them life inside of each animatronic. After the incident, the kids were quickly reported missing by their families, and although the security cameras caught Afton luring the kids away, he wasn't able to fully get in trouble. Since he was wearing the Spring Bonnie suit, they were never able to prove it was actually him. Afton also hid the kids' bodies where no one would ever look, so the bodies were never found. Unbelievably, Afton was able to get away with yet another crime. Because of all the bad press that came from the missing children's incident, people stopped coming to the pizzeria. After months of customers no longer showing up, Fazbear Entertainment officially shut down Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Shortly after the pizzeria shut down, Afton decided to pull the Funtime animatronics out of retirement and finally get his underground facility fully operational. He knew he couldn't try opening another Circus Babies restaurant, so he had a new idea.
Due to the massive success, and even more so the unfortunate closing of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, it was clear that the stage was set, no pun intended, for another contender in children's entertainment. Unlike most entertainment venues, our robotic entertainers are rented out for private parties during the day.
Afton opened Circus Babies Entertainment and Rental. This way, he could rent out the Funtime animatronics to local birthday parties, capture kids, and bring them back to his underground bunker to be experimented on. While Afton was running his rental business, Fazbear Entertainment was determined to try opening another pizzeria. In the summer of 1987, Fazbear Entertainment opened the new and improved Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, this time with brand new versions.
Wait. I want to see this. That look a little too much Minecraft. I'm sorry. Let me see. Go back.
Fazbear Entertainment opened the new and improved.
Okay, it's not Minecraft, but look, if you look back, it kind of look a little bit Minecrafty. Like right here, like I thought that was like Emerald, but no, dang. Firstly, I'm gonna give a round of applause to John right now because this is incredible. This is crazy. There's just so much, man. There's just so much. He edits so. First of all, the scenes are amazing. I enjoy the visuals so that we can get a good clue what you're talking about. That is crazy. And also going out of your way to just do this. I mean, honestly, you could have just made like the logos and we would have been fine. But you went out of your way to literally make the street and venue and everything. So give it up.
Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, this time with brand new versions of their original characters. These were called the Toy Animatronics, and they were once again built by Henry. Henry was aware of what happened in 1985, and especially of what happened to his daughter, so he was determined to make sure that never happened again. These new toy animatronics were equipped with facial recognition systems that were linked directly to a criminal database. The security puppet was also brought out of retirement, but instead of working security, it sat quietly in the prize corner. Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, Golden Freddy, and Spring Bonnie were also moved to the new pizzeria, and it's revealed that these animatronics were mostly used for spare parts.
By now, I'm sure you've noticed the older models sitting in the back room. Those are from the previous location, and we just use them for parts now. The idea at first was to repair them, but they were just so ugly, you know? And the smell.
This means that the haunted metal of the original Freddy's animatronics was now being put into the toy animatronics, causing the toys to also now be possessed. After Afton got away with the first set of murders, he needed to see if the kids' spirits were possessing the animatronics. In order to see for himself, Afton went back to work at the new pizzeria as a daytime security guard. While Afton was working the day shift, Jeremy Fitzgerald was working the night shift. Jeremy worked there for 5 nights, and unfortunately for him, because the kids possessing the animatronics were killed by an adult, they were extremely aggressive to any adult they encountered.
They interact with with the kids just fine. But when they encounter an adult, they just stare.
Meanwhile, Afton decided to pull the same trick he did at the old Freddy's location, gaining 5 more victims.
Someone used one of the suits. We had a spare in the back, a yellow one. Someone used it.
Afton used the Spring Bonnie suit to pull the same stunt again on 5 more kids.
Great.
As he was committing the murders, Charlie, from inside the puppet, was actively trying
Had to drink
to
water
save the
because of
kids.
this.
She tried enlisting the help of the other animatronics, but it was too late. Afton had already finished what he started. Not only that, him seeing the puppet and Freddy walking around the pizzeria trying to stop him was all the proof he needed that his experiments were successful. The kids he put into the original suits were haunting the animatronics. But there was one problem. Afton knew that the haunted metal of the endoskeletons was the key to everything, but the animatronics were trapped at the pizzeria. There was no way he could bring them back to his underground bunker. He couldn't get to the animatronics if the pizzeria was still open and active, so he needed to find a way to make sure the pizzeria shuts down and fast. Instead of stuffing the new set of victims into the toy animatronics, he decided to leave the kids out in plain sight, scattered around the pizzeria. This was a guaranteed way to get the pizzeria shut down. A few hours after Afton committed the murders, Jeremy Fitzgerald showed up for his night shift, unaware of what happened that day.
Hello. What on earth are you doing there? Didn't you get the memo? The place is closed down, at least for a while. Listen, just finish your shift. It's safer than trying to leave in the middle of the night. We have one more event scheduled for tomorrow, a birthday. You'll be on day shift. Wear your uniform. Stay close to the animatronics and make sure they don't hurt anyone. Okay?
All right.
The next day, during Jeremy's day shift, one of the animatronics bit him.
Oh!
This was infamously known as the Bite of 87. Meanwhile, Afton successfully got the pizzeria shut down. The local newspaper wrote about the incident.
All right, guys. I'm sorry to do this to you guys, but we're going to have to make this a part 2. I'm sorry. Okay, I know you guys don't want part 2, but hopefully I can get part 2 out sooner. That is, we're going to do that, okay? We're going to get part 2 out soon, okay? But this is where I have to leave things up. So, yeah, I mean, like the video so I know you guys enjoy. Comment down below what you guys think so far. And, yeah, subscribe. I'll catch you guys later in part 2. Bye-bye.